Are you gonna apply to any other schools? I don't know.
Make her apply to multiple and then she can pass the choice.
I wish she would do.
Listen, it me, I think my one went. My other one just decided he's gonna go right now at all, and we're just gonna see
Well,
last
we
year
just
there.
let Cameron go to,
Meanwhile, I work for a college, they go.
and they won't go there.
No.
You wanna adopt my daughter for like a year?
Can we be a guardian of custody? Can we make you legal
But
guardian?
Cameron decided to go to Newcastle School of Trades over in East Liberty.
Chris.
Yeah. He was Liverpool.
That's what I said, East Liberty.
Page my English first, $230,000 for 2 years.
I know. I was giving the guy the benefit of the doubt.
Meanwhile,
He's got a
she
little
could
over
have
his
gone
back.
to the
You bring cookies,
But-
huh?
Was Paige at the thing with Steven this weekend?
No.
We were there forever. We got
Well, I was away this
Listen,
weekend.
he said it was really, really late.
Because Cassidy was 200 and her
Cassie
her
was
running
250
her
and we were
running
considered early.
Well, I didn't-
That's
I wasn't-
in 32 entries in one event.
in one.
All right, you guys ready?
And Cassidy.
Call the meeting order. Rise for pledge of allegiance. Pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Fox? Mr. Harding?
Here.
Mr. Hill?
Here.
Mr. Decker?
Good.
Mr. Zackwitz?
Here.
Ms. Zabala?
Here.
Mr. Ward?
Here.
Mr. Chafee?
Here. Any action on the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on October 5th, 2021 as posted.
Second.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Decker?
Yes.
Mr. Zackwitz?
Yes.
Ms. Zabala?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Okay, no bids tonight? Public comment. Anyone want to talk about, agenda items only? Okay, Ports Council, Public Works, Mr. Girding.
The guys had put we're fixing, holes on Liberty Avenue. They've been fixing ditches along Wildwood and Beeler's Run. Cut the grass at the parks, Lock 57, cemeteries, and the fire department. They've been moving trees from Ashwood, Engle Extension, Westwood, Willowbrook. Cleaning the roads after storms. They've been catching up, cleaning up the shop. They got all the spreaders off the trucks, and they did a little repairs to one spreader, and they're just going over our winter equipment, coming up, making sure nothing's going on with it. Also, they want to know when you guys want to close up the bathrooms and water at the ballpark. You want to give that a little bit more time? Maybe next meeting talk about it?
Ballpark?
Yeah.
Close it now.
Okay.
Lock 57, we'll just keep watching the weather. I mean, the weather's pretty good now. But
Okay.
you just have to see how, if it starts getting bad in November, Nikki, go down cold.
Okay. And I need to call an executive session for our personnel. See you in an hour.
See you there. Chair's closed. Yeah. We don't want you sneaking out. Well, why were we squeezed out for 6 months? Just saying.
So I think that saved us is in her second event that day, she was number 4.
And if she was next year, she would have
You
had
stay
already
till
adult.
like midnight, reached at Garwood this weekend.
Yeah.
And so we
Cassidy
would have
did.
What kind of race?
She does barrels of poles.
Oh, okay.
So she did poles on Friday, wasn't too bad. We went back Saturday, and we were doing Bucky Nightmare. So she was in the open class. She was, her spot was 250 out of 435.
Wow.
So, and then she had the youth after that,
Function at
and
3 or
luckily
4 in the
she was
morning.
slot 4.
She made it fourth place.
No, she was slot 4 to run. She not.
And I have
When
no
you-
idea when they're coming
When they
back.
do an event like that, you knock, you get no time. That's it.
Oh,
You know, usually they take like 5 seconds.
yeah.
But
So
when
she
you're in
would have
that,
been, she would have
Then
been
they were up
second
and
place in the
gone.
2D division and she got knocked. I was like, oh man.
What do you mean knocked?
Yeah, we don't.
So she knocked the barrel.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So,
they didn't
and they run
just
1
penalize
through
you,
4D.
you were straight out, knocked you done. If you, they wanted you to
I
immediately
don't
exit the
know
arena.
Nobody did.
really anything.
Yeah.
about
Nobody
it.
did. They
Yeah,
finished their run.
For your own
I'm like, I
horse
paid
training, you
$25
wanted
for
to
her.
finish it, yeah.
I was like,
I rode English and hunt seat, and when John first got his horse, they were to have a show there, and my friends were all saying, oh, you ought to ride, you ought to take that horse. And I said, no, he's not ready, you know, I've been over here, no, take him in, he'll be fine, he'll be fine.
Ask at the end.
So I took him in, and we got 4th place. Of course, there was only 4 people in the class.
That's all I know, just because they were.
but yeah, this is the first time they've ran in like a year and a half.
No, it's not 6 months.
No, they didn't run close, not jamming, not jamming.
Thank you for your information.
Where was it?
Garwood.
Where's Garwood?
Columbiana?
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh,
real.
not too bad.
No, no. It's right in between, do you know where,
You don't have to tell me what it is, but you know
oh
what
my gosh, what's the school?
Oh, I don't know enough.
Beaver local.
No, not Beaver Local,
I really don't want to.
Crestview.
Steve.
Crestview Elementary, it's right down the road from Crestview. In between the intersection of 7 to 14, and the intersection of Rogers. It's right on, you turn right off of there.
Way, way back, when we were first hearing about the song of Bin Laden, you know, you were just starting to hear his name. John and I were coming out,
Yeah,
and
the
it's
last
that,
one, I
I
had
think
no
it's-
idea that was happening.
it's that, there's a big gas station on one side.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, and it used to be run, we pulled in there once, and it was run by Arabs, you know? So we're pulling up to it, and we see this car coming around, like, two Arabs coming around, and they go in there.
Okay.
So John, ever since then, he started calling those Osama bin Laden police.
Well, actually, you kind of turn at that gas station.
Yeah, oh,
And turn and
yeah.
go
You take
back.
a left there and go.
Yeah, you take a left.
And go back towards Rogers?
No, no,
Or
no.
are you coming from the other?
If you're coming from Rogers and the gas station is on the right.
Am I going to my internet?
I don't know if that's the same gas station she's talking about.
Yeah, I think there used to be an ice cream place, Patty went to it, and I think the farm, that big farm, it was a big farm that used to be on
No, we're further out,
the, okay.
a little further out.
She's like,
It was
she's like,
funny, because I was saying, you know,
that
I
is
mean, this is
not
kind of
me.
weird, they
There's a-
just had like Timothy McVeigh and about how he
So the
blew
other
it
day I showed her, I
up
was
Sure.
like,
with
look, I'm gonna
diesel
pull this
fuel
up, I'm telling you,
and
there's
fertilizer.
something on
and
there.
fertilizer, and I thought,
She's like,
so here's this station that sells diesel fuel, and there's a feed store down there, you can buy all the fertilizer you want. I said, Obama's son is gonna be calling, hey, bumping everything out. Oh.
One person's watching.
No.
Hmm?
One person's watching.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who this is one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I never know.
Yeah, she knows.
It ain't like none of them talk about it. You might as well just sit out
I
here.
don't wanna waste my time. Now it comes to planning meetings.
What's that?
What's
Well,
that?
somebody asked a question, and I said, back there, so I had to call those guys and say, so I seen them like that, you need to come to meetings.
Yeah.
I just came because I was local.
Because she's from Wampum, right? She said, I think she said.
She was living over in Hopewell there for a while. I think last year she moved up. to Walton. That's why it was between her and Jim going to planning meeting, because they were both close. So let Jim go. We should at least have music.
So it drowns that out.
Elevator music.
Yeah.
This reminds me of like dentist office music.
I got a meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, I have to tell you, they're having a memorial service for Lois.
Oh, they are? When?
Just at the church on Friday.
We gotta go out.
I'll make sure I'm on, what time
I
is it?
told
Gonna
us
have
next
it.
time they're doing it, so.
You taking a day off?
No, I'm gonna make sure I'm home on time. I
I
can't take the day
I
off.
would say,
My days are already planned to the end of the year.
yeah, it's at 11 a.m.
I've said no to her.
Oh, I can't be there.
I understand that, I was just telling you. I don't
No,
remember.
my days,
But I can look
I got
up
so
tomorrow.
few left,
Everybody's on.
they're already planned. I burn through them at like a cyclic rate during the year. My vacation days and stuff.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I burn through them
Yeah.
like the money in my pocket, but in the candy
Why in the
store.
world would you do that to a beautiful piece of Fiesta? Why?
What do they do?
What's his name in the middle of it?
Uh,
Why?
Yeah,
That
just
just,
pick it out.
yeah, but why would you even do that? I mean, it's a dispenser.
Is that the guy? that-
Yeah, Aquaman or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That one
They
commercial
know they got me.
that he did, where he's peeling off his muscles and,
Oh, yeah.
isn't that weird? That's a really clever
Yeah, they do
art
that,
worker.
that photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got my days planned down to like
Oh, okay.
the very last one to the end of the year.
A lot of deer season in there?
No,
No?
I got one for election day.
That's the pay.
I got one, a half a day to go and get my knees injected.
That's why I don't understand why.
And then I got 5 sick days to put you on the step. I'm gonna take them the week before.
5
The
days
week,
what?
I take 5 sick days in a row with no excuse.
Oh,
Puts
so
me on, puts me on a step for 6 months. I do it every year.
What do you mean by step?
Like there's discipline steps that go 1 through
Yeah.
5.
Oh.
I'll be on step 1. I'm on it every year. My boss says, yeah, I know. And he writes the note, and he says, you're off July 3rd. So I got the week before Christmas off on vacation. I'm gonna get my first set of knees done before I go on that week. I'm getting my second shot that week, and then I'm taking my sick days the week of Christmas, the week after Christmas. And it'll run me into New Year's. I'm gonna get my knees, my third shot then. Then I'll be ready to go back to work on the second.
Cortisone or something?
I'm getting the chicken gel, cone chicken gel,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Who do you go to?
I go to Dr. Singh at the Butler VA.
Oh, okay.
But when I was getting my cortisone, before I started going to the VA, I went to Dr. K over at the Beaver Valley Medical Center.
Did he also have offices like across from Jackson?
I don't know if he has any offices
I
anywhere.
think
They got a
he'd
big,
be pretty old now if he's the guy I'm thinking of.
he's probably maybe a little bit older than me.
He's old.
But he did my carpal tunnel
Oh, okay.
and my trigger finger. He did them both at the same
Oh,
time.
my.
Yeah.
And then he did this one.
What size one are you seriously gonna bring me a blank check?
But my husband's
seriously
knees
bring it
really
like-
hurt.
And it was funny,
What,
because,
Did it need to be on a certain percent cotton?
if I'm gonna get a surgery,
Yeah.
I plan
I'm not
on
bringing
it.
it, honey.
So he looked at my hand and he goes, I can get you in next week.
Yeah,
You go to surgery. I already knew I was gonna be off 6 weeks, I told him. I said, hold up real a second, doc. I said, are you here the weekend of Thanksgiving? He said, every day but Thanksgiving, I'm here. I said, could you do my surgery on Tuesday? He said, yeah. Why,
They'll go sometime.
Shirt, do you want?
2X.
Wait a minute till Paul gets in there.
Sorry, I needed to interrupt you for a
Why
second,
didn't you just say 2X?
because I didn't know what size you wanted. Listen,
So when he did my hand on Tuesday, I was off till January the 8th.
Oh.
So I was off all through Thanksgiving, all
Yeah,
through
nice.
Christmas,
Yeah,
all
nice.
through the year. And I saved 5 vacation days.
And you didn't want to go back, huh?
No. I actually went back on the 8th, January the 8th.
Yeah.
And the next day I left out of town to go to Philadelphia and work for 8 weeks. I was gone 8 weeks. I did 387 hours of overtime.
Oh, my goodness.
I made an extra almost $40,000.
Did they have some kind of hurricane or something?
What happened is Verizon does an LFA, a license and franchise agreement with the boroughs or the municipalities or the towns. And they were behind and they were getting fined every day. They were behind, so they called a bunch of us in. And we worked unlimited overtime. I was on the south side of Philly at 11 o'clock at night in places I shouldn't be, installing files. So it was funny.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include, hiring for a road department worker.
Mr. Girding?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Decker? Mr. Zakowitz?
Yes.
Ms. Zavila?
yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just make that motion.
No.
Okay, so just,
It's public.
oh, okay. Yeah, we put out, an ad for, a road department worker. We interviewed for it and we, came to a conclusion on who we as a road department committee would like to recommend for the job. Yeah, do I just make that a motion?
Make a motion.
All right, and I want to make a motion to hire Mark Somerville for a full-time job on the road department.
Second.
Mr. Girding,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Decker.
Yes.
Mr. Zachowitz.
Yes.
Ms. Vila,
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes. So if you hold him tomorrow, Natalie, and tell him his earliest convenience, we'll get him started.
Okay.
All right, Nick, how's your winter commodities looking here? Any nice gig you guys been getting in? Salt, how's it looking down there?
I will call Leonard tomorrow. I talked to him today, but I forgot to ask him that.
All right, Natalie, you need to find out the remaining amount of salt we need to buy off this year's contract. Find out how much room is available down there to purchase it,
Okay.
and start having Leonard call around for a nice gig, and start getting some hauled in here. So we don't get behind the eight ball on that stuff. Okay, anything else for Public Works?
No, that's all I have.
Or Finance, Mr. Hill?
All right, everybody in their packet got this, profit and loss previous year comparison. We're gonna get that out, we're gonna go through this real quick, have everybody take a look at it, so that you can look at your departments and figure out where or what you may need. Everybody got their paper out? Ready to start moving? All right, here we go. All right, on the first one is real estate taxes. So this is, our money collected, so this is probably not going to change from this year, so unless you were to raise the taxes, and I don't see that happening in my opinion. Per capita tax would be the next one. This is all stuff, once again, that we've received or not received. Earned income tax, same thing. It's something that doesn't change a whole lot. Income tax, next one, real estate transfer tax. Now that one was up a lot, I think a lot of houses sold and sold quickly, so that's just one that, I wouldn't budget heavily for, but we did win on that one this year.
But just remember too, guys, the stuff that really pushed this up this year was the Seven Oaks developments. So don't count on that as a yearly thing, it's probably a one-off.
Yeah, you never wanna go heavy on that, it's just a win in the end when you get it. All right, so license and permits, so, the cable TV franchise, that there is always usually pretty steady. We're really close on that one, only off $206, that ain't too bad. Junkyard license, that one there is given every year, same amount, same thing. Fines and forfeits, once again, that's something that you can't really count on. Interest and rents, going through it, the interest, earnings, the checking, stuff like that, pavilion rental, stuff like that, the OBMA rental, that OBMA rental is for the secretary, the clerk that's inside the office there.
The best way to look at that kind of stuff, since it's a floating income, and based on what we do, you always want to budget that low as an income. That way, if you get more, you get more. But you never assume you're getting more and end up with less.
Yeah, a lot of those numbers on that first page, you're not gonna change or win a lot more on. The only way you really change that is the first column, or the very first line item, and that's by raising the taxes. And if you don't raise the taxes, that's not gonna go up. All right, so on the second page, Federal CARES Act, that is for some, money that we received for the Federal CARES Act. That is something that you really can't count on, but it is something that we did receive this year, and it can only be spent on certain things. So that list is being put together, and we will decide where those funds will go.
So that is not a budgetable item.
That is not a budgetable item.
That is on this report, is to showing income coming in.
That is also in its own separate account now, is removed, it is not in the general fund. All right, so going to 355.1, or L, whatever whatever that is. State, so this is all taxes and other things that we get from the state. So, the big one on there, you know, state pension revenue, so that is money that the state provides us to pay our pension. That is actually on our bill list today, you will see that. So we will still receive more of that money towards the end of the year. Act 13 drill permit fees, that is one that we usually, I think we receive in the spring. We need to do a little homework and see what exactly if that came in or not. Going on to the next one, the charges for services. So subdivision fees, municipal lien letters, all this stuff. You know, you can't budget a lot for that, like building permits, once again, 7 Oaks. So you can't budget, you know, a ton of money for that, but we did get a good amount of revenue from building permit fees. There's also some of these MITA things, there's some negative numbers here that need taking a look at, and that's something that we're working on right now. So that category is actually it's gonna change a little bit, but it's not a bad thing. Unclassified operating revenues, miscellaneous revenue. We need to look at that as well, because I just want to know exactly where that comes from, because I'm not real sure, to be honest with you. Donation from the police department, there's $6,000 in there. You know, we really didn't budget for that, so that is the donation from 7 Oaks for the Wolves Fest. All right, so next, go back and put a dot next to this one here now, like 380.000. Let's see what that. I want to know what that is. I agree with you. And then it just didn't. When it got into the account, it didn't go right. I'm thinking that's what it is. Refund. All right. So other financial sources. Refund of prior year expenses. Blah blah blah. Workers' compensation. So that's all stuff that is gone. So that's your total income. You can look at these lines right here. Your total income for 20, total income for 21, which you can see we received a little bit more money, but you can't count on all of that being received because there's money in there we probably are not going to get.
Well, right now, Natalie, I want you to look at this CARES Act stuff. Is that CARES Act in your total for revenue?
It is on this, yes, but because it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't go by these numbers on our budget. This is a starting point for us. We'll have to put a budget together. But this is something out of our computer system that you can go by. I don't think we can count on the CARES Act money, because that's not something we can spend on just anything. All right, so going down to general government, legislative, meetings and conferences.
These are all static numbers. Meeting and conferences and salary of council members are static numbers.
Yep.
And the reason you don't show them all yet is because a lot of us take our check at the end of the year. So the last report you get for the year will show this as a push category.
All right, so moving on to the next one, auditing fees is $7,100 budgeted, and that is what we have budgeted. I think that's going to tie into one of those other that we see down there. I just think we got two separate categories now. We need to take a look at that. All right, so going down to 403-E, you got tax collection. Salary of the tax collector, that's a fixed thing. Tax collector office supplies, that's usually pretty accurate where it is. I don't see any reason to change a lot of this stuff. Printing for tax collector insurance and bonding. As long as the insurance and bonding doesn't go up, that's fine. Tax collection, solicitor legal, professional legal fees. That stuff does not really change much. Secretary and clerk, so this next one here is 405E, is the salaries of the secretary and the clerk, and budgeted money for office supplies. On the next page, 405.350, you get the same thing, the bonding for the secretaries and the clerk, dues, subscriptions and memberships, meetings, conferences, and training. We're going to go over that. So, other general government. You got office supplies for all departments, office supplies, copier, DD, tech support and software, advertising, printing, dues and subscriptions. Once again, that is all ones that I will go over with Natalie and, the other heads of those departments and make sure that there isn't anything major that they need that will come out of there. Other general government, data processing. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly what that, is this for the printing the water bills and stuff? Okay. Alright, so that's usually pretty close. Engineering services, so we have a budgeted amount for that. We're still under budget for that. Dues and subscriptions. Engineering, general government building, so this is naturally going over all the buildings, so operating supplies, internet, electricity for the office, utilities for the office, maintenance for the building. Some of these utilities, they have gone up this year, so those are some that we're gonna have to take a look at. Janitorial services, repairs and maintenance, all, that would be all of your building supplies. All right, moving on to general government building, other. Next page here, guys. Moving on to the police for public safety. Denise isn't here, but Denise will have to go through all these things and make sure that her salaries and everything are gonna meet the budget. Clothing allowance, ammunition, that's one we need to definitely probably have to increase, guys. Police vehicle, gas, new cars are getting pretty good gas mileage. Now that we've gotten all those old ones out, it's actually improved due to all the mileage and everything. Tires, photo processing, a lot of the stuff, the Humane Society, we need to budget appropriately for that. They give us a price every year. Police communication equipment, police printing, police repair, maintenance of minor equipment, due subscriptions, police crime lab fees, police meetings, conferences and training, police minor equipment purchases. So that wraps it up. Fire, that'll come down to Mr. Chafee over there. We'll have to, see what they are going to want or need, but here's their list of things.
That police communication, you're gonna have to do something with it too, with the new radio stuff they're doing. Supposedly instituting over the next 2 years.
Okay.
Be quite expensive.
We'll have to, is that gonna change with the fire as well, or no?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to look at that and make sure that we budget appropriately for all those items. So between yourself and Denise, we'll have to get some numbers
Kevin,
on.
when did you say it's coming in next year?
Suppose over the next 2 years, they implement that. They want all new radios.
Is it just a new channel, new band, new what?
Whole new system.
Different the high band stuff?
It's different than high band, it's something different, but they say it's better. They're gonna have to change all the radios up. They're figuring for the fire, it's gonna be probably close to $60,000. The police will probably be 40, because they have to buy radio for each car, walkie-talkies and one inside, so that's 4 radios, 2 walkie-talkies, at least 2 or 3, whatever they got. Something we need to budget and then put into an account to save it for the following year, so it can be, so you don't have to put like 40 or 60 grand in 1 year. You know what I mean? But it's coming up.
All right, so I mean, we're gonna have to budget for that stuff. So that's a good conference, good conversation, conversation. So we need to communication there. It's even better. We're gonna use the teacher. All right, so finishing up fire. If we look at some of this stuff, we have actually need to take a look at. We need to take a hard look at all the utility stuff, Kevin, for yours and for every other building in this place, for the utilities. I think everybody needs to take a look at that. All right, so moving on to 420.1, health and human services, SEO wages. That we're gonna know what that is. It might have borough only, and that really doesn't apply to us. Public works, sanitation, recycling and collection and disposal. We'll be able to eliminate those costs right there. Public works, highway and streets, so this is something that Nick will have to go over. He have another employee now, so we're gonna have to make sure that we have budgeted for that. For the following year, take a look and make sure that all your fuels and everything is gonna be under budget, with diesel fuel at over $4 a gallon now. We're gonna have to make sure that we have allotted for that. Just, you know.
Well, our fuel comes from, we bid that out, so we'll get the cost of that. Diesel fuel we get delivered through the call contract.
Do we have a general idea how many gallons we use?
Yeah, we bid that out on the call, so that'll be in the spring commodity package.
You bid it on COG, but you use it all, use the whole thing every year?
Well, we don't have to. We bid X amount of gallons at X amount of price, whether we use it or not. We only pay for what we use. But it's a set price, so it's pretty easy to figure the diesel. Gas is the only thing that's, we don't use enough of it to
Yeah,
get it.
Because it doesn't go through COG, the gas doesn't.
Well, we can get it through the call, but the problem is we don't use it fast enough. It goes bad. If we
So,
put in a big storage tank.
My question would be is, how many gallons do we bid from COG a year?
Contract.
I didn't know you knew.
Not offhand, but I'm saying that that's a static amount.
So we're in chairman for like 33 years or something. Alright,
But what I'm saying, diesel fuel's not gonna be an issue for pricing this year, because once we get the price, that's the price for the year.
you may find that when you bid it this year, it's gonna be substantially higher.
Go ahead.
Alright, moving on. Alright, so Nick, go through all that stuff.
Okay.
Bunch of things. Cut your costs. You're gonna get it off, says Mr. Wood, you're gonna be cutting costs on that. Alright. Next one, recreation. These guys, they're always over budget, so we need to really tighten our belts up, okay? So go through all this stuff and see where you can save some money on some porta johns or something, alright? Really step up our game on this one, Sherry.
Right on that.
Okay, so this is one thing I want everybody to look at when they're looking at this previous year's budget. Okay, this is not your final budget, what you spent this year. This is only till October 15th. Okay, same as what you projected is only till October 15th from last year. Okay, what we need to do is keep a current, accurate on your profit and loss, where you're at, and what you think you're gonna spend for the rest of the year. So you should be able to go back and look what your monthly costs are and stuff. Project what your final budget's gonna end up for this year. And that's the number you need to work for your future budget. Okay? So this is a good layout to show us where we're at.
Well, a perfect example, Sherry, would be, you know, with these stupid porta johns is, you'll get the bill of what it was, and then project it for, you know, the 9 months of service that we require them, and figure out what the bill's gonna be, because we are over budget on that. So, I would just say, you know, knowing that we're gonna have to have the handicap one, you know, we didn't think a lot of that through last year, to be honest. So, we need to just get a better handle on that. All right, moving on to, you got the recreation, good deal. All right, so now debt services, that is for our, that's still on the.
We have no debt service.
Yes, you're right, it is.
That debt service should be a zero account, because it's been paid off.
All right, so let's moving on. Employee paid benefits, so this is your accident, life insurance, employee health care, pension contributions, payroll taxes, all that stuff.
Have we heard anything from the team?
Not yet.
Cost?
Yeah, for the health care and stuff. No, I don't. All right, so once we hear that, we'll get us a more firm number on that. Maybe we can reach out to them that day, see if they have any ideas what it's gonna be or what it isn't. Insurance, on the last page, page 8, insurance, property liability insurance. Get a hold of them and see what they know if there's gonna be any increase or anything. Workers' comp, insurance, same thing, figure that one out. Insurance, it's finished, unclassified operating expenses. So, just go through all this stuff, payroll expenses, blah, blah, blah. We'll figure that out. Other expenses, so I guess everybody who's in charge of a committee, get with your committee, figure out what you do or you do not want to spend next year, and where you want to pull monies from to do so, and we can move on from there. So hopefully at the next meeting, we can have we're gonna do a spreadsheet with this stuff on it. something that we can write into, okay? And I'll show you exactly what we want. And then we'll go with even more current numbers from next week, and then, or next month. So it's gonna be like a crunch time, Tuesday morning. Alright?
Yeah, how about like Friday and Saturday?
Don't want you to know me, I like to crunch now. So,
You work better under pressure.
I work better in pressure. So, we'll do the spreadsheet. What we have spent so far, and then what we want to fund.
Alright, so guys, I think we should have a committee meeting for the next meeting. Especially finance committee needs to get up here and start really working on this a little bit harder.
Who all's on the finance committee meeting? You?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's me and you and
Well, it was Rick, I think Rick was on there too. I don't remember. Last year it was me, Lucas, and Rick.
thanks for volunteering.
You already had me on there.
7 o'clock next Tuesday, you guys need to come in here and get started on this stuff before the meeting. So we get some
they'll be on vacation, they're still
Thanks, Rich,
involved.
I'll fill in for you then.
Alright, so for 7 o'clock before the next meeting, myself and Natalie will get a nice spreadsheet made out and printed out, something we can write on, and we'll go from there.
Well, I can't next Tuesday.
Oh, no, you're on the meeting, it doesn't matter,
I can't. I just,
Yeah,
before the next meeting.
yeah, that would be next week.
before the next meeting.
The night of the meeting, 7 o'clock, instead of 7:30. The night of the next meeting.
Oh, the night of the next meeting, not next Tuesday.
The next meeting.
That's what you said, next Tuesday, and that's why we both thought next Tuesday.
Oh,
I'll be here for that.
Yeah.
Not
I'll
the next
be-
meeting, yeah, I'm sorry, I
7
apologize.
o'clock
That's okay.
before the next meeting.
I'm sorry to throw you guys off. there.
Which will be on,
You guys vacation
Thursday?
somewhere, or what?
because of election day.
Yeah. So just so you guys know,
It'll
throw
be a
another
Thursday.
wrench, if it's gonna be a Thursday, you guys will elections.
Yeah, Thursday before the next meeting, yeah. The Thursday of the next meeting,
So the day of the next meeting at 7 o'clock.
which will be on
The long and
Thursday.
the short of it.
Yeah.
Alright, you've already taken up too much time, you're done.
Alright,
Anything else?
that's all I have for finance tonight, I'm sorry to hold you guys up.
Anybody's got any questions on the budget? Legislative, Mr. Sackus.
Legislative, public utilities, gas company got in contact with me, and we do have a resident and his wife willing to, once everything's going, to pass petitions out, see if we can extend the infrastructure in the whole borough. So, I should have a meeting with the gas company within the next 6 weeks or so.
Okay, anything else? Okay,
But the
public,
lights still haven't fixed down there.
you better get on them, John, you've been on that project for 6
Been
months
on,
now.
but we're getting back, so.
Alright, public safety, Denise isn't here, so, one thing she did leave, is ammo for next year for the police. We got about a 12-month backlog on getting ammunition in, so this bid will be for next year's supply. We just need a motion to get the ball rolling. We will not pay for it till next year, but we need to, get the ball rolling and get stuff started, so. Prices,
Go ahead.
the price is $1,534.07 for the quantity we need for 2022.
And this will all be stuff that's budgeted for next year,
It will be
but we
paid out
need to
next-
order it now because it's got a
It will
12-month
be
lead
paid
time.
out of next year's budget. So, I'll make the motion to purchase, ammo for 2022 from Markle Supply Company for $1,534.07.
Second.
Mr. Garding,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Zackwitz,
Yes.
Mr. Wyla,
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes. Nothing from fire, you got anything, Kevin?
No, just them things, the radios.
Alright, recreation, this is the bylaw.
All right. So, we did a motion September
our September 7th meeting for the concrete work and the electrical work for renovations at the small pavilion and the large pavilion. And I received a message back from Tech Electric that there's been an increase in the supplies that are needed. So the electric is going from 10,000 to 11,400. So I want to know what everybody thinks about whether we go ahead and do this now, or do we want to wait and see if costs go down, hopefully, in the spring and rebid this? We also have the other situation that the concrete was bid to Chafee Lawn Services, so I don't know how we need to do that either.
Well, I think we need to rescind the motion. It's getting a little late in the year to be doing this stuff anyways now. And just get them rebid for spring.
We'll do the electric now, because I'm looking for it to go up more. These things are.
I can tell you it's as high as it's been right now for the Autogram stuff, so.
Keep in mind, both of these, at the dollar amounts that they are, those are quotes. So you're not paying for an advertised spec in the paper. So it costs nothing to get the quotes. So if you choose to do this at a later time, I mean, not spending money doing it.
I mean, I'm not happy with the $1,400 increase, and I would hope that hopefully maybe spring it'll go down. I mean,
Well, what I'm saying is, I think in the springtime, we may get a few more companies bidding on this bids anyways.
things will be a little looser as far as getting work done.
There's no
Everybody's so busy right now.
There's no necessity in getting this stuff done. Hurry up and get it done before the end of this year.
You're gonna I'd like to have it done,
like in February, that's what people have when you want it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it this year. I myself, I would not want to spend $1,400 more than what I had to, so.
I don't think you're going to. Prices are gonna shift back down once the supply stuff gets straightened out.
That's what I'm hoping, so I wanna make a motion to rescind the motion regarding the pavilion, renovations that was made on September 7th. And we will rebid it get some new bids in the spring.
Good.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Decker? Mr. Zackwitz?
No, because I'm watching prices go up instead.
Ms. Vila?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I don't think anything other than, Dominic, do you have any updates
Yeah,
on some other things
I
that
felt
you'd like to?
I see my name in print.
You
It's either
do?
good or bad, I
You got
don't
an
know.
upgrade, man, you got an upgrade.
Huh?
You got an upgrade.
Okay, well, Dominic DeGito representing Fairview Grange. Few things. The auctions are gonna start back up in November. However, we're not gonna do it weekly. They will be held on the first and third Thursday of each month. November 20th is our Christmas auction. It's a Saturday and it's 4 or 5. I forgot the time, so, but you'll see these things posted, so. October 30th is trunk or treat from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Plans are continuing to have the pavilion converted into a haunted house. The Grange will not be holding any games inside. Okay, and I was hoping that Denise was here. There's going to be judging for, and you guys might know, there's going to be judging for scariest and most original car decorations. However, we didn't know who was doing the judging, being that this is like a co-sponsored event between, the borough and the Grange. If you had somebody to do the judging, or if you wanted us to do the judging, okay, we were gonna then give a cash prize, so then we were gonna hit you up for a few bucks. Huh?
I myself personally,
We, as individual council members, can give you money, the borough will not.
Oh, okay.
and I am, I've spoken to Denise, so I myself, not as a
Yeah.
council, I'm gonna look into getting some things for prizes and
Okay.
donation.
What are you looking for?
Well, we were just planning on giving a cash prize for, Scarius, and, I mean, I don't think it was anything great, even maybe $25, something along
Well,
them lines.
This is something we can talk about after the meeting, because it's not really borough business.
Yeah.
As far as the cash amount of money. So if you can
After the
talk to
meeting.
Dominic after the
So-
meeting, you have to figure out what you wanna do.
My next question for you on that was, if you would like to come up and give stuff away, do you have to register or anything, or is it just gonna be show up?
No, just show up.
One thing that, I would suggest, and which would be nice, for the 2 years that it was done, we kinda had a question as to how many kids actually came through.
The
So-
previous year, the estimate was 800.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay,
it's,
way long.
Because we, and Denise and I discussed too, and
Yeah.
this is, again, we'll talk about it after the meeting, of some things that her and I discussed
Yeah.
about doing over there,
okay.
okay?
December 18th, Saturday, the Santa Parade will take place and time and route to be announced. House lighting, those plans continue. We are gonna hold that again. The other thing, just to let everybody know, the Grange is being rented quite a bit. The Grange is, to rent it costs you $100, $25 deposit, that's refundable upon, you cleaning up and all of that. When you rent the Grange though, you get the Grange, you get the pavilion and all, simply because we don't have restroom facilities out at the Grange. At some point, we're planning on restroom facilities out at the pavilion, and then they can be two separate, rental type things, so, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for Rick?
I don't think so, I think I'm done.
Reports of officers, Mayor?
I have nothing.
Nothing from the secretary, nothing from the treasurer, nothing from planning. Nothing from the emergency coordinator, borough solicitor, Mr. Steph.
I have no report this evening.
Borough engineer, Mr. Klein.
I don't have a report this evening.
Anything from the SEO? Anything from the tax collector? Any unfinished business? Okay, action on the bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills as presented on bill list number 18.
Second.
Mr. Girding,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Zekwitz.
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes. Okay, no ordinances or resolutions tonight, no communications. New business. We need a motion to change the meeting on November 2nd to November 4th, same time, due to the election.
So moved.
Mr. Girding,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Zekwitz.
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes. Okay, public comment.
My name's Rocco Uslady, I live on Tusker Road. I was very disappointed, you guys talking about all this money for the budget, yet there's no money for a Little League baseball team. We had none last year.
Well, the borough
I don't
doesn't-
know what you guys had against Sean, but it's a disgrace that this community don't have Little League baseball and softball. Our football kids gotta go to Brighton
The
Township.
borough doesn't sponsor anything.
Now, wait a minute.
The-
Now, wait a minute, I coached down there for 35 years.
It used to be WLBRA, WLBRA. So
Yeah, what-
Western Beaver, Western
Little
Little
Beavers.
Beaver Recreation.
They have to get some money from the council.
No, they don't.
We never,
You
they
know,
never, and I was, the
now, wait
only
a
reason I
minute.
know this is I was
Who-
on the board for
We're paying tax
WLBRA.
money to the council, what do we get for it?
This-
Our kids, you don't see no kids out
The
here
kids-
playing nothing.
But the problem is when there were baseball teams there weren't enough kids to make a
Oh,
team.
no, don't tell me that.
It's the
My-
truth,
I mean, it's the
Rocco.
truth, my
Huh?
It is the
kid
truth.
played,
Now, wait a minute,
my
I
kid
coached,
played and he
I
ended up
coached
going
from
to Beaver.
1962 to almost 1990,
Rocco.
and we had enough kids,
Not
okay?
Not now.
Not
The
enough
only
kids.
reason why we didn't have enough, nobody wanted to join another town. I tried to join with industry.
You want to see this right here?
What
This
is that?
This is the biggest downfall. This is what, this is
Rocco,
why
in
kids aren't playing baseball.
1980, Western was graduating probably 160 or 170 kids.
No.
Now they're graduating 54.
So what, I don't understand
There's
that.
just not the amount of
There,
kids.
there are other communities out there that are the same way. I could take you all over the valley and up around any place you wanna go, and there's kids outside playing all the
Well,
time.
I'm gonna tell you, so there used to be Beaver, Brighton Township, and then us that had for Little League baseball. Beaver doesn't have theirs anymore, so they combined with Brighton Township and so did
Have
we.
you ever, now wait a minute, have you ever been down to Eaton Fields down there?
Absolutely.
They're playing night baseball right now, little
I know.
kids.
But it's
Night
a,
baseball.
but it's a combination of kids from Ohioville and
Well, because nobody wants to do nothing
because we
out
don't
here.
have enough
Don't
kids.
tell me we had enough kids when I coached, almost 40
I'm just
years.
telling you, I was
We
involved.
had to go get them to come
I
out.
was involved with WLVRA, and I'm gonna tell you, I ran the concession stand, I sat on the board as the secretary. Sean Neri did a wonderful job, but
Well,
it
what's
got
the
you,
council
But
supposed to do with our kids?
but that's not us.
Rocco, listen, I understand where you're coming from. The council has nothing to do with that.
Well, you
Nothing.
get our
We
tax
have-
money.
We have nothing to do with that.
Well, you're
That
talking about all this
Western Beaver School
budget.
District encompasses
Do
Ohio.
you see any
and
kids
the-
playing basketball or baseball or?
Rocco,
When
please-
my kids
please
were,
let me
and
finish.
you was growing up, you was playing all over the place.
Rocco, please let me finish. Western Beaver High School is not just in Ohio, it's industry also. We do not sponsor, as a borough, any sporting events at the school whatsoever.
Well, I know
The
that
only
when
thing
I
we've
was
ever
coaching.
done is provide the ball fields that are over in Ohioville. We did the maintenance on. You know, we helped them with the dirt, we kept the fences up, we kept it mowed. That was our part of the obligation to get the kids someplace
Well,
to
you
play.
know, you guys could change things, you know, you are the council.
I would
There's
love
nothing
to
to
see
say,
it.
you can't,
That's why you pay
I'd love
school
that.
tax.
huh?
That's why you pay school tax.
I also pay county,
But that's
borough
why
tax.
there's a difference.
And
Your
what am
money-
I getting for my borough taxes?
You're getting your roads plowed, you're getting the roads maintained.
I'm not worried about that.
Well,
I could go in the snow.
everybody else
What
back
I'm
there
worried
is.
about is these kids. I don't even have no kids. I knew what it was like when I was coaching. How them kids loved to come to baseball and football. I coached football, basketball, everything there was.
You know, over the
You
years,
don't see
Rocco,
these kids
you've
playing
been- You've
anywhere.
been up here enough times. We spent money on updating the dugouts down there.
Our
We
kids
spent
don't
money-
count.
We spent money on fixing the fences. We've offered the
No, we
W,
don't need no bucket. Get the kids play down
we
there.
offered
Not enough kids.
WLVRA, any
Yeah.
projects they needed to us to get, let me finish now.
Go ahead.
Any projects that they needed to help them along with attracting these kids, we agreed to provide money down at the ball fields.
Well,
to
you're
do.
talking about dugout. When we played in Meadowbrook, we had a telephone pole to sit on.
But what I'm saying to you
We
is,
did what we had to do to keep
we-
it going.
we don't sponsor teams as the borough.
Well, you guys don't sponsor nothing.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing going on in this community.
Right.
You finally, after 60 years, we got 2 new businesses in this town last year. After 60 years. Now, that's progress? I don't understand. I mean, this is a disgrace, this community. We have nothing out here, nothing for our kids.
A lot of people like it that way.
What?
I said a lot of people like
No,
not having
don't say that,
businesses.
lady. I've been out here too long. I coached in Minden, I coached in Beaver.
Rocco, we just don't have the kids anymore. There's just not the
No,
kids.
don't say that either.
There's
Now,
not the kids.
All right, let's move along.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Let's move along.
Bob Canali, 6308 Tusca. Can somebody tell me what the big hole in my front yard is for? Got the plywood over it, says hole on it with the cone. I mean, it's been there for like a week, almost 2.
It's not road department. It's not
Oh,
road
I
department.
just wanna know if somebody knew. I don't know. If somebody could just tell me, that's all. And when are they gonna fill it in?
Well, we haven't had any official notice that I know of through the borough, but I've been hearing it's FiOS.
Yeah, no, I work for Verizon. It's definitely not 5.
Oh,
I didn't know if it was somebody putting I just wanted to know.
It's line boring stuff, so it's
Okay.
cable work.
I,
We haven't got any notifications from anybody.
no ETA on filling it in or nothing like that, right?
They were
Okay.
here the one day and left the next.
Run out there, get a lot of.
Okay, I just kinda wanted to know what was going on.
When they was putting wires, they dug the holes, and they had this machine, they had these big thick wires
All right, anybody else?
for the first 2 days. And they was driving.
Oh, Dominic DeGidio, 6229 Tuscarawas Road. The first item goes to what, Bob, what you were asking John about lot 57 lights. That sounds like it's just a broken record.
Well, it's Duquesne Lights pole. It's Duquesne Lights light.
There's gotta be, so you make a call, what's the next step?
Make a call.
It appears that doesn't work.
Make a call. Duquesne Light will come fix it when they're available. I mean, we went through this. Sometimes they come down in a month, sometimes it takes them 6 months. So it's depending on,
You can't address it as a safety issue?
Yeah, the police would make the call too.
I mean, we've sent letters down from the
Corner,
borough.
getting towards there. There should be another light at that intersection anyhow. There should be a safety light. And,
I know, we sit out here and, you know, like I said, we just hear twice a month and.
everything.
Well, like I said, it's with Duquesne Light,
Yeah.
so it's a low priority because it's not on the road someplace.
You got a phone number for that pole?
So we usually get a phone
What's the
number,
phone number?
Yeah.
make a phone
They're
call.
all marked down on the park
Did you call them and give them the phone number?
and give them the location.
Would it help if other people call too?
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't gonna hurt.
Do you have a number, telephone number?
Duquesne, I tell you, Duquesne light bill.
7,000 or something.
373-7100,
373-7100,
I think, or
right.
7200. Something like that.
The other thing is just, and this is just a pet peeve of mine, and I think it's just out of it, we remove our hats for the pledge, but then we have people who put our hats back on. Is it so necessary to put a hat back on during a meeting? That's all.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Jessica Janicki, 193 Wendover Drive, and I was just wondering if there's a date for the CARES Act money, like, does it have to be, because I know, like, for a lot of other projects that I'm involved in elsewhere, like, we had to have it earmarked and said that this is what we're spending it on by the
We haven't got any-
31st of this year.
We haven't got any firm date on that because they're still setting the guidelines
Okay,
on that stuff.
the most updated ones I got said that it had to be by December 31st of this year. It didn't have to be spent by then, but it had to be, like, voted on, what it was going to be spent on by then. So I just wanted to make sure that we weren't gonna lose that money and have to pay it back.
Last we heard, it was still kind of up in the air on the guideline for that. So, it is very, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, she's talking about the CARES Act money.
Oh, the CARES Act one we already have. Is it? Yeah, we already
What
have
she's
the CARES
saying
Act
is
one.
Right, but what I'm saying is that the stipulations that are out there says that it has to be spent during the time frame or earmarked to be spent for something during the time frame. It doesn't actually have to be paid out until afterwards, but it had to be earmarked to be paid out by the December 31st. I just want to make sure we don't lose the money, that's all.
We already got the money, we ain't losing it. Anybody else? Last chance. Ask for adjournment.
I'm disappointing you, aren't I?
It's like one time in the last 3 months.
They wouldn't, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't much.
She doesn't make no matter to me.
No, I just want to.